That was different with respect to the even older times, and then in the times of Mu, the motherland, or as we nowadays tend to say, Lemuria. That was very fascinating. We walked to the back of the upper house, and as soon as you come at the back there, not only is there the sixth chakra, but there is a very special energy. And that energy, you can say, the best way to put it is connected to divine femininity. It's where the Lemurians had a way of working with what we tend to call the cosmic principles, which is the masculine, feminine, and the neutron, which is the essence. And basically, if you really look into every situation, there's always that triangle. The duality of the masculine and the feminine, and the neutral or the child that brings it all together into oneness. Then you create harmony. And the Atlanteans and the Lemurians knew that. They worked always with the triangles and those three principles. And we can have beautiful stories about that. You know, some of the places like Mallorca, who has worked that out in such a beautiful way. I do not understand on the large scale how the balance between those three works, because that is such a tremendous endeavor that we never did that. But here is one of the places. And it's a very powerful and a very beautiful, and it's part of a grid work. You know, that's why many people say that this area is a Lemurian area, and they're right. So the energies are there, and the energies are forming a part of the underlying energy system that we all walk in all the time. It's a big gift given from the past that we can use if we choose to. You don't have to, but if we choose to, we can use it. And out of that are 4 main lines going, and it will take quite a bit of research to understand where those lines go to, because you have to follow them and check them. But I'm sure that they go to similar type of systems in the area.
How many lines? Did you say many?
4.
I thought 4.
Yes, there are 4.
So there's a grid of these similar centers,
yes.
And
yes.
Are these lines? They're not at right angles to each other.
No.
Right. They're
No,
just
no.
They're simply connecting
Yes.
links to those other
Sure.
nodes or.
Exactly. And what is interesting, those places are always on the vortexes that we mentioned, and in this case it's the 6th chakra we talked about earlier. So the beauty is the 6th chakra is, as you may know, a feminine chakra. On a place where there is a structure that helps us to connect to divine femininity. It's a very powerful place. So that is how that area was used, but we pretty soon found that was not the end. So we walked through the gate and we went to the place behind there, because we were attracted there, and we very clearly heard, well, there is another thing that we need to check. And the best way to describe it and realize I'm talking about energies that we translate into an understanding, right? It is not there anymore, but the energies are still imprinted in the land. And that is how we then translate that into an understanding, into words. So the best way to say it is, what is there is what we would describe as a healing temple. That was used in Lemurian times. And the Lemurian people worked with dolphins and crystals mainly. In almost all temples you find elements of that, and you have to go back in time and realize that in the Lemurian time this was close to the sea level. And that's why we see all these remnants of the fact that it has been at the sea. That's why we have the red rocks, and that's why we have fossilized coral on the different mountains in this area, right? Part of it can be easily imagination, so I'm not going there too deeply in, but it is important to understand that there's those energies and they are available. So, given that area, we feel that it has been used as a sacred area in those ancient times where a lot of healing took place. And what we felt is there is a strong resonance with the other side, the creek, the mountains that you were talking about, you know, that are in front. And there is a dynamic interaction, but yeah, we need to go to the place to be sure of what that is and what that means. You know, I can't say that based on what we know now, but there is no doubt a dynamic interaction. So that gives you a little bit of an idea what, let's say, the past has left as an imprint on the land that can be used in whatever way you choose to use it. Now that level of the portals, the doorways into the realms of energies and consciousness of the ancestors, or the star nations, you know, whatever term people, specifically the indigenous people, are using.
Could you say that again?
That the term portal connected to other star systems, as indigenous people are saying, or you can say to the ancestors. There are literally openings where we can connect with them. In the same way as we are interacting with other human beings through what we call the chakras, in that same way there are portals or doorways where even planetary systems are connecting with each other. And we can go into such a center, and we, depending on how we develop our brain as a reception system, we can pick up information that can help us in on our journey. And that is what many native traditions actually did. It's one of the stories that when we were in Taiwan, I really like that story, because they asked me to look at different places and define what it was, you know, and they found their own special places. So they guided me to a place on the slope and said, "What's this?" And they expectantly looked at me, and I said, "Well, how would I say this? You know, I can say what I usually say, this is a Pleiadian portal, but..." So I said, "Okay, let me phrase it different." So I phrased it as follows. If I was in North America, I would say, this is a place where the indigenous people were connecting with their ancestors. And this man started talking in Chinese to the one who was translating. Wow, totally excited, because that is what the shaman of the indigenous people had told them. That is where they communicated with their ancestors. So it was good that I didn't say Pleiadian portal. I would have missed the beautiful gift. So it was exactly the right phrase to use. So what do you have on the land? You have right here in this corner a portal at the same place as where the seventh chakra is. And that portal is one of the few that I would call a double or a multiple portal. There are not many, but that one has it, and it has it to the Pleiades and to Sirius. So that's one place. Then we went to a place pretty close to the center of the Lemurian site I was talking about, where also the sixth chakra is, about 6 meters from there, and there is a connection, it's up at the upper house, there's a connection with Arcturus, the teachers of the teachers. Some people, or they call themselves, I think, that way, and I resonate very strongly with that. Teaching is the energy that belongs to them, as much as healing belongs to the Pleiadians and knowledge belongs to the Sirians.
As much as what?
What?
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Knowledge belongs to who?
The Sirians. Yes. They are the ones who guided the construction of the pyramid. And a lot in the Egyptian areas is a lot of that energy. Very powerful. Very powerful. Even the shafts in the pyramid are aligned to Sirius.
So the Sirius is the knowledge, and
Pleiades is healing, Arcturus is teaching.